Howdy and welcome to Kyle Field and the Hall of Champions. It's a good day to look back at Texas A&M's past and right now to its present, but it is a great day to look forward to its football future. The past has included great head coaches that have walked these sidelines at this stadium, including DX Bible, Homer Norton, Bear Bryant, Gene Stallings, Emory Ballard, Jackie Sherrill, and R.C. Slocum. If you look at the Aggies presently, yesterday we accepted an invitation to play in the Belk Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina on December 29th. We wish the best of luck to the 2017 Aggies as they look to beat the hell out of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons in Charlotte. But as we mentioned, it is a phenomenal day to look forward to our future with Texas A&M football. Jimbo Fisher comes to us from Florida State University. In 8 of his years in Tallahassee, he won double-digit games 6 times. In 2014, he led the Seminoles to the college football playoff. The year prior to that, in 2013, Florida State University won the national championship with Jimbo Fisher at the helm. So it indeed is a great day to look forward to the future of Aggie football. I want to introduce who is on stage with me right now. Please welcome the Chancellor of the Texas A&M University System, Mr. John Sharp. The Chairman of the Board of Regents at Texas A&M, Charles Schwartz. The President of Texas A&M University, Michael Young. Texas A&M's Director of Athletics, Scott Woodward. And the 29th head football coach at Texas A&M University, please welcome Jimbo Fisher. And we will begin with remarks from our president, Michael Young.
Thank you. Howdy. I want to start today with a word of thanks. I want to thank Coach Sumlin. He took a program that helped us get into the SEC in a pretty glorious way and do extraordinary work, built this program up in ways that now allow us to move to the next level. So please join me in thanking Coach Sumlin for his service here to this university. Today is an exciting day. We accepted yesterday an opportunity to play in the Belk Bowl, but at the same time I called the commissioner, told him that we would be delighted to accept that opportunity to play in the Sugar Bowl next year. We're all ready to do that, and then the Rose Bowl right after that. So we are ready. He accepted our acceptance. I want to thank some people today who were particularly important in helping this thing happen at this university. We have a chancellor whose mantra for this university is always excellence. It's excellence in academics, it's excellence in the student experience, it's excellence in our athletic program, and nothing but excellence will do. And helping us arrive at this place, Chancellor Sharp, thank you for all your help in making this possible. I already want to also extend thanks to the board under the chairmanship of Charles Schwartz. The board has been extremely helpful in guiding and directing us as we do this work. Their passion for this university is unexcelled. Their support is immeasurable and extremely important for what we've done. So, Charles, thank you, and all the fellow members of the board. Now, I noticed the only person who really got a whoop in this entire enterprise was our terrific athletic director, whose passion for excellence even exceeds mine. Scott, thank you. Thank you for being here. There is a little bit of a conspiracy. Some years ago, as the chancellor suggested, he worked very hard to place Scott at LSU and embed him in there so we would have this day today, to ensure that we would have that relationship. So it's been 8 years in coming, and Scott, thank you for what you're doing. Now let me turn this over to our great athletic director. Scott.
Howdy. 23 months ago, when I was given the great honor of becoming the next athletic director at Texas A&M by President Young, I stood in front of many of you and the Aggie faithful and suggested that what lured me here to College Station was opportunity. The opportunity for greatness across the board, as President Young mentioned. Today, I stand before you with proof that Texas A&M is an opportunity for greatness, as we welcome one of the nation's top college football coaches to our Aggie family. I first met Jimbo in 2000 and quickly became an admirer, not just of his coaching acumen, but more importantly, of his infectious approach to the young men in his charge. I was also taken by how he interacted with then young son Trey, who was often around the team, with the father and son bond on visible display everywhere. In the ensuing years, as I've watched from afar, he ascended to the highest levels of the game and won a national championship, but remained true to who he is, a football coach and a father. With us today are two of his incredible young prodigies, Trey and Ethan Fisher, and I want you to welcome them here. Ethan can't wait to get that big buck, buddy. Jimbo's accomplishments speak for themselves. He is one of only 4 current coaches in college football who have won a national title on their resume. He led Florida State to an 83-23 overall record during his tenure, including a 48-17 record in the ACC. Won 5 bowl games, finished in the top 10 4 times, and of course won the national championship in 2013. Success is part of his DNA. In 1987, he was the Division III National Player of the Year in football. In 2001, he was the finalist for the Broyles Award as the Assistant Coach of the Year. And in 2013, he was named National Coach of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, that is success. He is the right coach at the right time for Texas A&M, and I am confident that the opportunity for greatness is right around the corner. I want to thank the Board of Regents, Chancellor Sharp, President Young, and the 12th man in their support of me, this process, and of our new football coach. And I especially want to recognize the senior administrative staff in our department who routinely amaze me with their dedication and their professionalism. So if you would, please join me in welcoming Jimbo Fisher to the Aggie family.
Thank you, brother. Howdy. Scott, you forgot one thing that I do need out of my jacket, my glasses. You know, it was about 2 or 3 years ago, I kind of held that off for a while, and I kept reading the paper farther and farther out from me, and somebody walked behind me and set a pair of glasses on, and I had to break down and give in and admit that I do need them. It's truly a great honor and a privilege to be standing here in front of you in Aggie Land today. It really is. I've always admired Texas A&M from afar and appreciated what it had. I'm extremely grateful to be here at Texas A&M, and this is without a doubt one of college football's greatest sports venues and richest traditions. And within the short amount of time that I've been here, all that said, the people here are incredible. I don't know if I've been around a nicer group of people who are more professional and make you feel more welcome. It feels like I've been here for 2 years already. It really has been incredible. The amount of support and the people, the way we've been treated in our family, it's remarkable. But before I continue, I'd like to say a special thank you to all the players, coaches, and supporters at Florida State University. And a special thank you to Coach Bowden. He gave me an opportunity 11 years ago to come there, and then gave me an opportunity to be a head football coach. And, you know, back then, President T.K. Weatherall and the Board of Trustees had Jim Smith, gave me an opportunity in my life to live a dream and continue a dream, allowed me to come here to Aggie Land. And like I say, a special thanks to those 2 young men and President Thrasher and A.D. Stan Wilcox for all the help and support they gave me during the time at Florida State to be very successful. And
beyond success on the field there are important relationships you develop off the field and in those communities. And I always be grateful and thankful the way you treated our family and our time at Florida State. And I wish you all nothing but the best. But I want to say a special thank you to Scott Woodward. As I say with Scott, as we met back in the year 2000, that we went to LSU at that time, and there was a commitment to excellence, and there was a vision for what we wanted to do. And Scott was one of those guys that I always said, if I ever had the opportunity to work with him again, because I say this all the time in coaching, you can have Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, you can have the greatest coaches in the world. But if your administration doesn't see things in the way you see things and allow you to do things that way, nothing can be achieved. You have to be a one. There's a oneness to everything you do to be successful. And I knew he had the same visions that I did. Just like Scott said, he felt that about me, I felt that about him back in his excellence. With Chancellor Emmert at that time, who's now the president of our NCAA. And they allowed us to do the things in which we had to do to be successful. And that's always attracted me to him, and I thank him. And not only that, being a great friend. We did some great things at LSU, and we can do it again. I also say a special thank you to Deputy AD Stephanie Rump, President Young, Chancellor Sharp, Chairman Schwartz, the 12th Man Foundation for giving me this opportunity. It's truly a great opportunity. But saying that, we understand that we are the front porch of this university. We are not this university. We are just a representation of this university. But we are the front porch of this university, and we want to represent it with the great values and core values on the field and off the field that this school represents. And to let people realize the greatness that's going to be on the field really continues, and the secret to it is here in College Station, of what this university is, what it represents, what it is, and what it still can be as we grow. And success leaves clues. It really does in your life. Success, as all the successful people I've learned from everyone I've been around, success leaves clues and the common denominators. And I'm a true believer in this. Success doesn't happen by accident. And you either live in vision or you live in circumstance. We want to live in vision, as we want to grow and develop and do the things here in which we think are comprehensive to this university and represent this university and to our student athletes. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the players. It's about the student athletes and the students in this school. Because without them, none of us on this panel would have a job. It is truly about the people. And I can represent that hopefully very well, as I see y'all represent it very well, as I have felt that as I have gotten here, as much as anywhere I've ever been. And what we want to do here is create a comprehensive plan for success for our student athletes. But first, as a student and the activity as people, it's going to affect the lives, the education they get here more than anything in their life. There's no doubt. And the education here and the people here, I understand the success of Aggieland as I've been here, as I researched it and studied it. Next is a person. And I believe this, if you develop the person, everything else falls in place. That comprehensive plan of creating habits and making decisions and doing things. And our players, I want them to understand the two most important abilities I want them to leave our organization with. Accountability and dependability. If you're accountable and dependable and you develop the right habits as a person, everything else in your life will fall in place. The education will, because if you're accountable and dependable, you're going to go to class, you're going to go to study hall, you're going to do the extra things in which you have to do. If you're dependable when someone calls your name and standing up that needs you, those are two of the most important qualities in life. Because I say, education is very important, but when you're a good person, everything else falls in line. And you create those habits daily that create you. And then third is an athlete. As an athlete, that's what we're here for. But often, that's the carrot we will dangle to develop these kids in every facet of their life. We all want to play ball. I love coaching ball. I love all the things that go with it. But if we don't have good people, we don't have people that are educated and driven to excellence in every form of their life, what translates off the field is going to be the same thing that translates on the field. And that's what I want you to see in our players. I want you to be proud when you sit in those stands of how they compete, how they play, how they look at things, and how they represent Texas A&M University. As I say, we are the front porch. There's going to be 15 to 20, 25 million people watching games. And we want them to understand what we're about here in College Station and what we can do and what the people to encompass and come here and want to see more about our university. As I have learned a heck of a lot here in about a day and a half. It's been amazing, the things that I had no idea about. I thought I researched it, but I wasn't close. It wasn't close. And those are a lot of the things that drew me here. And then fourth after that is helping launch their career when you're done. Because when these players leave this university, we want them to be tremendous ambassadors for our school. that they come back and they want to say, and when we're out on the recruiting trail, and they say, well, what is it like to be there? What is it like to play there? And they ask us, I'm going to say, go ask our players. Go ask the people who were here. See what it's like. Making sure that they're successful in their life, whether it's in pro football or whatever it may be. If they're lucky enough to be able to, a few fortunate guys that develop at that level, that's great. But taking care of these in a comprehensive way that produces ambassadors for our university to help it keep to grow and be the place that it is, and the special place that y'all know it is. Because this creates culture. And in my belief, culture is the most important thing that any university can have, any program can have, any organization can have, because it's the way you walk, it's the way you talk, it's the way you think. And being here, I don't have to tell you all that. There's no doubt. I mean, it is everything in which I envision and more. The amount of pride in which I see people in this school. When they told me when I got here, they say it's going to be different. And you know, I say that, you hear that everywhere. You really do. You hear those statements everywhere you go. I feel it though. I really do. And I see it. Because there's an adage I tell our players about your action speaks so loud I can't hear what you're saying. Because we hear it all the time. I'm going to do this, coach. I'm going to do that, coach. But your action speaks so loud I can't hear what you're saying. Well, your action speaks so loud I can't hear what anybody else is saying. It's truly great. You know, our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride. There's a mental and physical toughness that goes with everything. Toughness is the number one thing in this world. And there's a great book out right now, as a matter of fact. And a little bit of that toughness comes into a word called grit. And if you're mentally tough and you're physically tough, you have a word called grit, in which the most successful people in this world have that grit. They have the ability to dig down and pull out from within themselves to do the things they have to do. They have to give effort. Effort in every phase of life. As a person to be it takes effort to be a good person. It takes effort to be a good student. It takes effort to be a good player. All those qualities. And that can never be compromised. It can never be compromised. The discipline to be able to do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to be done every single time in every facet of your life. And then the pride, which I have is the Aggie pride here, as I feel it. There's pride in what you do and who you are and what you do as a person. And at the end of the day, sometimes that's the things that have to drive you. And those hot days, those long days, the days that, you know, we all go through as human beings, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you're a father, whether you're a child, whether you're a student, whatever it may be. There's got to be a pride of excellence in what you do. And that's the kind of people we want to bring to Texas A&M. They exhibit these qualities. Because like I say, there's talented people everywhere in this world. But people who are driven, who are focused, who are belief and want to be part of a team. Us team is together, everyone achieves more. That's what we have to understand. That we have to be one. We have to have a oneness. And we all do want to win. But the individualism, especially in today's world, is very driven. The individualism to be great. There is an I in team. There's no I in team, but there is an I in win. And we tell our players every day, that's going to be the individual responsibility for you to be the best you can be for Texas A&M University so our team can be great. And we each have that responsibility as a coach, as a player, as everybody who touches and affects these kids' life. And that's what we want to do, a comprehensive program, because as we develop kids today, this is going to be a comprehensive program. The mission for us here is very clear. Develop these young men to be the best they can be in every facet of their life, because when they're champions off, they're going to be champions on. And I understand that I come in here with great expectation. And I say this due diligence. Your expectations will never be greater than mine. I promise you that. We understand expectation. We live in the world of expectation. That's what we live. That's what we do. But our expectancy and habits of ourselves to be great will never exceed anything that's out there. We're going to be driven to be the best every day. And when good enough becomes good enough, we have a problem. Good enough can never become good enough. There's always room for growth every day. We're going to strive for excellence and perfection every day, and never relinquish that. As Vince Lombardi once said about that, you know, we're going to strive for perfection every day, knowing full and well we'll never reach it. But in the meantime, we're going to find that excellence, who we are and what we are. And we got to drive to that every day. And as you play in this league, I grew up in this league. I coached 13 years in this league. I understand this league. I was 6 years at Auburn. I was 7 years at LSU. Achieved national championships in this league, conference championships in this league. It's one of the best conferences in all of college football. It's one of the best divisions in all of college football. We understand everything that goes with it. That's the challenges I like. That's what I want to do. I want to take Texas A&M to somewhere they haven't been, and that's the champion of the SEC. That's what we want to be and what we want to be, and then eventually to the national championship and how we do it. Because if you can compete in this league, you can compete in any league in college football. We have all the ingredients. People say, what attracted you to Texas A&M? First and foremost, it was Scott Woodward. And as he told me and his vision for the place and what he had, And he told me the president's vision and the chancellor's and the board of regents, it was a no-brainer. And the ability to come over here, accept those challenges, and go to new heights and do things, because breaking into this conference and doing the things that we have to do. And I think all the ingredients are here. I think we really do. I think we have a tremendous recruiting base. I think we have tremendous facilities. I think we have tremendous support. And I'm looking forward to the challenge of accepting that challenge and moving the organization and program forward and helping this university, to be a proud part of this university. I understand respect, excellence, leadership, loyalty, and integrity, and self-service. They're the 6 core values of Texas A&M. Our program will reflect these. Our players will reflect these. Our staff will reflect these. I will reflect these. I always tell our players this: change is inevitable, growth is optional. We want to grow. We want to live in vision. I think when you live in vision, if you can't see it, you can never achieve it. I can see what we can be. I have a vision of what we can be. We will chip away and take the things away that don't help that vision. We will increase the things that help that vision and try to take Texas A&M where it should be, at the top of the college football world. I think everything is here. It's an exciting time to be at Texas A&M, and I'm extremely proud to be your coach. And questions? Do you have any questions? Yes, sir. I got to get recruiting.
We will keep the Q&A with members of our media brief. He just said he's got to get to recruiting. But we do have a microphone for you guys, and please state your affiliate and your name when you ask a question to Coach Fisher. We'll be brief, but we can open it up for questions with Coach Fisher right now.
Sam Kahn, ESPN.com. Jimbo, in Florida State, you won 83 games and won a national championship. From the outside looking in, it looked like a great situation. One, why leave that situation? And two, what made Texas A&M the right place to do that?
The first part of your question, I'm sorry.
One, why leave what seemed to be a great situation at Florida State? And two, why was Texas A&M the place to leave it for?
First of all, I never had any intention of leaving Florida State. And after Scott had contacted and I started to research, and again, I say my relationship with Scott and his vision to do things, and as I researched Texas A&M and all the things it had here and the resources it had here and the vision it had here and the people it had here, from the president to the chancellor to the board of regents and everyone together as a oneness, and in my relationship with Scott, the ability to come back and work and relive that vision and things that we had did before at LSU, I think it was a no-brainer in a crazy way. Again, my time at Florida State, I love it. It was phenomenal. It was a tremendous place. But in our life, there's opportunities out there, and you see, and like I say, I had no plans on leaving there. I had no plans on ever leaving there. But with the people I'm working with the place I'm going, and him explaining the things to me as I researched, I thought it was an opportunity I just couldn't pass up, and a challenge that I thought that was out there that I just couldn't pass up.
Brent Zwarneman, Houston Chronicle. With the early signing period, how important is hitting the recruiting trail as quick as you can? And also, what are your plans for the bowl game as well?
Extremely critical, as we've got to get on the road. We've got to get evaluated, what we need, the players we need, the situation, how many of this, how many of that, and get up there on player evaluation, which I started on yesterday, and looking at film and trying to make some evaluations and just consideration on other people and getting out there. Listen, at the end of the day, recruiting is a lifeline of your organization. You have to go out and get the kind of student athletes that represent the core values in which you want in your organization, not only on physical talent, but the ability to represent, compete, and understand how to be the habits of a champion. And I think that's very critical in what we have to do, and we have to get on that road and get to that process extremely quickly.
Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Coach, do you feel like you have to win a national championship here to validate this sort of bold move that A&M made here today?
I don't know if I have to, but that's my goal, and that's what we're going to. That's the object and the mission in which we're about. That's our whole objective in everything we do. Our whole goal is to win a national championship every year, and it always will be.
Greg Bailey from ABC in Houston. Jimbo, what will the process be where you will sit down and meet with some of the current players, get to know them, and start to build the foundation of the things that you want to put in place?
No doubt. We have to build that foundation and embrace those players. I will meet with them this afternoon in a team meeting, and as I will meet with the staff and the people that are here and in correlation with the coaches that are here right now. I have a plan, like somebody asked me for the bowl game a minute ago. I forgot to answer that, for the comprehensive plan in which we'll go in the bowl. They will coach the bowl. I will be an observer and watch and be out on the recruiting trail and what we're doing. But I definitely want to embrace these players and meet them and get to know them and as quickly as possible.
Travis Brown at the Bryan College Station Eagle. What would you like to see in naming your new staff, and do you have kind of a timetable on putting a staff together?
You say putting the staff together, the timetable, as soon as possible. We're in the process of doing that now, and also but meeting with current staff members here, say their interest in what we have and where we're going forward. We want to do that as quickly as possible so we can have things in place not only for the players here, but for the future recruits and the people here so they can understand who's going to be here, who's going to be coaching, and the vision in which we have for them.
Kirk Bowles from the Austin American Statesman. I wonder if you've had a chance to assess and evaluate the talent that you're inheriting.
Not inextensively. I've seen a couple games and films, and like I say, there's a lot of very good players here, and have done a good job and have been very competitive and played well. So to answer that question, I haven't had a chance to really, develop that time to be able to do that yet.
And could you tell us why you've been so good at recruiting and developing quarterbacks?
Lucky, I guess.
Jimbo, Randy McElvoy, KPRC, NBC, Houston. Follow up kind of on the recruiting, the importance of building the relationships. I'm sure you have many already with the Texas High School Coaches Association, and how important that is in your message to them.
Extremely important, because I say the players and the coaches are the lifeline of this organization. That's where we're going to get our players and to help and help them in any way, shape, or form. This is, like I say, one of the greatest states in all of America to develop college football, and I don't know if it means any more than anywhere in the state of Texas. And the coaches and the amount of coaching they get, the programs in which they come out of, and developing those relationships are going to be extremely critical. I've been in the state at different times. When I was at FSU, we came over and recruited some. When I was at LSU, at all different places. But I'm really looking forward to getting to know them because, like I say, I've had great respect for these guys from afar and what they've been able to do and develop, and that's going to be the key. And like I say, our doors are always going to be open to them, and I look forward to meeting and talking with every one of them.
Daryl Bruffett with KBTX TV here in Bryan. Coach, when were you first contacted by Scott about the vacancy here at A&M?
I was in the last week of recruiting after we were going into our last game. He contacted my representation in that last week.
Hi, Suzanne Halliburton, Austin American Statesman. Jimbo, when you hire your staff of assistants, how important is it that they have big ties to the state of Texas in order to recruit?
I think it's very critical that guys that have recruited in the state or be here. But at the same time, I think it's very critical to make sure you get the best people in the best position that are out there to be able to represent this university and coach our players and to recruit our players. We want to do that if we possibly can. But also at the same time, we want to make sure we get the best people who represent what we want to do, as I say, and build those relationships. Because at the end of the day, it's still about people, and you can go out and build those relationships too.
Coach Zach Taylor, News Talk 1620 WTAW here in town. Your time at LSU, how do you feel that will benefit you coaching back in the SEC, coming back to the SEC?
Well, I think I understand the league, but more importantly, I think understanding where that program was at the time when we come in. We're, like I say here, we've been winning games, you're going to bowl games. At that time when we went there, we were 3-8, 2-9. When that plan took over, and we were able to comprehensively change the culture of how we did things. And as I say, your traditions and values never change because your core values of what you do, but how we did business over there changed daily, and we got a comprehensive plan for the future and where we saw it go. So like I say, you live in vision or you live in circumstance. And the vision of seeing where things go, how they're done, the way you have to conduct your business, and where your organizations and programs and the game itself is going, I think was one of the greatest things we did at LSU because, and I said that, I go back to that again. It's not just about the coach. It's about the AD. It's about the president. It's about the chancellor. It's about the Board of Regents. Everyone at that time had one vision and one goal. And we did that, and we were able to change that vision and how we did things daily, which I think will help tremendously in how we're trying to go forward here. To me, that's the key to everything, having that oneness.
Coach Olin Buchanan with TexAgs.com. Just curious, in your mind, what do you think is a reasonable time period to take a good college football program and build it into an elite one?
Yesterday. No, it isn't. Listen, I'm not a very patient guy. Now, in saying that, we have a process, and you're going to hear me say this word 100 times. It's not about the outcome, it's about the process. If the process of how you do your business and what you're doing is right, the outcomes will be there. And sometimes we get results that don't come from the right process. You can't sustain those. The process is the key of how you go about things, and we have to install that here and get people to understand that here to be the culture, create those habits so we can get the results in which we want. But it's going to be about the process, and as soon as we can get that process in place, then we can get the results in which we want.
Robert Sesta, the Bryan College Station Eagle. Coach, your boys plan to live here some of the time, all the time, and I know you've only been here a short time, but do you plan to retire here?
That's the objective. You know, they always said when, I turned down some jobs early, and they said you could be a young head coach. I said my object is to be the oldest. So I want to be the oldest. I want to stay for a while. I know I plan on staying, and I think this is a destination place. I really do. I think this can be an unbelievable place. And our family, as we're adjusting right now, we will always be together, and we're adjusting those things right now.
Got one more gift for you from Scott here.
Ah. I like that, dude. Wow. I am a boot guy. Good. All right. We ought to put them on right yet?
No, you don't.
Okay. Is there any other questions? All right. Thank you all. Look forward to being here.